Okay. And we hear you talking about on there that you feel like you had given up your life for Malika at that point. What did you mean when you said that?
Well, I feel like I did because she say all she ever done for me and this, that, and the third. But if I would have just told the police in the police interview that, yeah, I cheated on my wife, I talked to this girl, that girl, then I wouldn't be in the situation I was in. I wouldn't be here now. If I would have just told them I cheated on my wife instead of trying to protect our marriage.
Okay. Now, the week of the murder, you indicated you received those text messages from Brandi. What did you do when you received those?
I forwarded them to my wife.
Why'd you do that?
So it can let her see that I got a good excuse to go over there and talk to Brandi.
Okay. So did you, in fact, end up doing that?
Yes, sir.
Was that on Wednesday, like we saw with the
yes, it was
records?
on Wednesday.
Okay. So how did it go on Wednesday when you went over there?
It went good. I talked to her. I cooled her down, let her know that, I think that's when I told her that I had got shot. And I told her, I haven't been working steady as I normally do. I told her once I get back on my long-term jobs, I'll be able to give you some more money or start giving you more money on a regular basis. And that was that.
So based on that interaction, how, if at all, did Brandi's tone and attitude change about the situation?
It changed drastically. It did a 180 like it always does.
Okay. So when you left Wednesday, y'all were on fine terms at that point?
Yes, sir.
You kind of cooled her down and she was fine at that point?
Yes.
Did you receive a text message from her the next day?
Yes, sir. She stated that if I wasn't her baby daddy, she would have gave me some. LOL.
And what did you think when you got that text message? What were you thinking about?
I was thinking that, back like it used to be, fight, make up. It was a make-up text, what I considered it as.
Okay.
So I waited a few minutes, I called her, and, I tried to make plans to come over that day, but she had something going on.
We need to step aside. We are going to take a quick break, but we're going to bring you back and get you caught up exactly where we left off. You're watching Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice.
Tonight on Court TV.
We're live with the latest updates from the family massacre murder trial. We'll catch you up on the biggest moments and most shocking testimony from court today. Plus, with the potential death penalty looming, 6 men and women hold Henry Segura's life in their hands. Which side has presented a better case so far? And what still needs to happen to convince this jury one way or the other?
Closing arguments with Vinnie Politan. Tonight, starting at 6/5 Central on the all-new Court TV.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare or who expects to join soon.
This card I'm holding in my hand, it's an example of an all-in-one Medicare Advantage membership card.
The kind of Medicare coverage that comes with this simple little card can help you in so many ways.
The Medicare Advantage plan that I've got, it has paved the way for more independence. It's all-inclusive. They take care of all my pharmacy, they take care of all my medical, they take care of my doctor bills.
I actually don't even have to pay for a doctor visit, and that's fantastic.
If you're already on Original Medicare or you're about to become eligible, you may be familiar with Parts A and B.
Those cover your doctor visits and hospital care, things you'll also get in an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan. But all-in-one Advantage card holders may get so much more.
I have only one card, and that card helps me with my vision costs, my dental costs, my pharmacy costs, my doctor costs.
Let's scroll a list of the potential benefits that can be covered with this single kind of card. And remember, in addition to all of this, you're still getting the Medicare, hospital, and medical benefits to which you're entitled. Oh, and are you sitting down? These plans may have a $0 monthly premium depending on where you live, no matter your health status or how much money you earn each year.
It is not trickery at all when you hear $0. I'm proof positive.
I love the $0 plans. That fits my pocketbook really well.
Compared to original Medicare recipients, people with one of these all-in-one Medicare plans had 23% fewer hospital stays and 33% fewer emergency room visits, while also receiving more physician office tests and services.
I love my Medicare Advantage plan. I wouldn't get away from it for anything in the world. It's perfect for me.
I have been able to go out and live a healthy lifestyle, been able to do all the things that I need health-wise, and because I'm able to do that, I feel good about myself, and it has saved me so much money.
One card, one company, one complete and convenient package of Medicare benefits to help you get well or stay well.
And for one low or no monthly plan premium. That's the kind of value you can't afford to ignore. So why not find out more right now? Here's how.
Call 800-525-7153 or visit thiscard800.com for free information about this incredible card with no obligation of any kind. This is free information that could give you more coverage for less money. Call 800-525-7153 or go online now to learn more.
Watching Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. I'm Julie Grant. Defendant Henry Segura is on the stand. Let's go back in now. You haven't missed a moment.
Did you and Brandi talk at all on Friday?
Yes, sir.
Now, you were at home during the morning that day, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so how long whenever that was, when you and Brandi talked to each other, how long did you talk to her for?
We talked for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. And did you all have a plan based on that conversation about when you were going to come over?
Yes. She told me to come by sometime that afternoon. So we made plans for me to come by sometime that afternoon, once she got the kids or whatever.
So at some point, did you head up into town from Woodville to where Brandi lived at?
Yeah.
When was that, roughly?
Sometime around 2 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Around 2, yeah.
Had you gone there before that?
No, sir.
Okay. So you think around 2 o'clock. Was Brandi there when you got there the first time?
No, sir.
Did you have any communication with her?
Yeah, I called her to find out where she was, what was going on, and she said she was with her mother riding around. They were going to pick the girls up and then head back to the house. So I went.
Now, when you were waiting for her to get back, did you go anywhere in the meantime?
Yeah, I went to my sister's house.
Sean's house?
Yes, sir.
Sean Segura?
Yes.
Was that the Gale Street address that we saw with Investigator Corbett, Sergeant Corbett?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your sister lived right over there near Brandi?
Yeah, she lived right around the corner from her.
Okay. So how long did you go to Sean's house for while you were waiting for Brandi to get home?
Probably it was around 1-ish, 2 o'clock, so I don't know, a couple of hours.
Okay. When were you supposed to come back to meet up with Brandi?
Well, originally, like I said, we talked about me coming before when she got the girls from school. But I tried to make it over there before she picked the girls up. So, which she normally get the girls around 2:50, 3 o'clock. So I went back to my sister's house, and around 3 o'clock is when I headed back towards her house, because I knew that's about time she should be home with the girls.
And what vehicle were you driving when you went over there?
My truck.
Your green pickup truck?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe what that looks like?
Yes, it's a green Chevy step-side Silverado 94, 95. It had some gold 22-inch rims, had a big spoiler on the back, big fiberglass flatbed on the back.
So a fairly distinctive
spoiler on the front. Yeah.
Okay. When you got back over there, what time did you say it was when you came back the second time?
When I went back to Brandi's?
Yeah.
It was around 3 o'clock.
Okay. What happened when you got back there the second time?
I parked my truck at the church near her house.
Why'd you do that?
Because I didn't want to park right in front of her house so that any neighbor that knew my wife or whatever would see my truck at her house. and it might wrap me up.
What, if any, phones did you have with you at that point?
I had my cell phone that my wife didn't know about with me.
And what was that phone for?
So when I was talking to girls or communicating with females and stuff like that.
Did Brandi know you had that? I'm sorry, did Malika know you had that phone?
No, sir.
And there were no communications from Brandi to that phone. Did Brandi have that number, the 408 number?
No, I didn't give her that number. She just had my
your main number?
My main number, yeah.
I'm sorry, the 509 number?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why didn't you give Brandi your 408 number?
She liked to call too much. If I didn't answer the phone, she gonna call until I pick it up.
Basically.
I didn't want to have her calling while I was with another female, and the phone just continued to ring. So.
And that was the phone that you would use when you were with other females, the 408 one?
Yes, sir.
That's what it was for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Every time you ever communicated with Brandi on that phone, did you use the *67 so that she wouldn't have your number based on the call?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was for the same reason you just described?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you indicated you parked your truck at the church. What happened next?
I parked that truck. I walked down to Brandi's house, and when I got to the corner to make a left to go to her house, I noticed her mother's truck was still in the yard or whatever. So
okay.
I went back to my truck, sat in the truck. I listened to some music, watched some videos on my TV, and
why couldn't you go over there and just wait with her while her mom was there?
Well, her mother knew that I was married, and I felt like she had an issue with the type of relationship me and Brandi had.
She didn't approve of it?
No.
The extramarital deal?
No, sir.
And when I say she, I'm talking about Brandi's mom?
Right. No, sir.
So you didn't want to be there given that fact with Brandi's mom present?
No, sir.
Okay. So you said you went back to your vehicle. How long were you back in your vehicle for before Brandi's mom left?
Probably an hour or so, a little more. I waited until I seen her mother's truck leave.
Okay. What did you do at that point?
I walked back down the hill, walked to her house, got to the corner, made a left. I cut through the neighbor's yard and went in the house.
Do you know about what time that would have been?
It was close to 5 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. And how long did it take for you and Brandi to hook up?
Not long, about 15, 20 minutes.
And did you utilize any kind of prophylactic?
Yes, sir. I used a condom.
Okay. What was done with the condom and that stuff after y'all had completed your activities?
She threw it in the toilet. I believe she threw it in the toilet. She took it off of me with a paper towel. She went in the bathroom. I heard the toilet flush, so I assumed she threw it in the toilet.
Were the kids home while this was going on?
No, they were across the street playing like in between the two houses.
Did you see them when you walked up to Brandi's house?
Yes, sir.
Did they see you?
No, sir.
What were they doing that, if you know, prevented them from seeing you?
They were, the way the houses were set up, it was a house here and one here, and they were in between the two houses, playing in between the two houses with some other kids.
So they were focused on other kids just playing and stuff, and they didn't see you walk up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where did you and Brandi have sex at?
On the bed, in the bedroom.
Her bed?
Yes.
Okay. After that wrapped up, what happened next?
We went in the living room and watched television. Let's see, she called the kids in. The kids came in. I tried to spend a little time with Javante, trying to interact with him a little bit. The girls went back outside to play.
Okay. At some point, did the three kids go across the street to eat the oxtail soup that the neighbor was making, or stew, whatever it was?
Yes, eventually.
Okay. About what time was that at, you think?
Man, 7-ish.
Okay. When the girls came home, well, I guess it would have been all three. When the kids came home, after eating the stew over at the neighbor's house, did they bring any for Brandi?
Yes, I think it was Tanaya's one of the twins brought Brandi a plate home.
Okay. Did Brandi eat that when you were still there?
Yes.
Okay.
She tried to give me some, but I didn't look like anything I wanted to eat.
About what time, as best you can recollect, would it have been that Brandi ate that oxtail stew?
I'm guessing about 7:45, because it was close to time I was getting ready to leave. About 7:30 probably.
And what were y'all doing after the kids came back over?
Nothing. We was watching television, talking in the living room.
And who all was out in the living room watching TV?
Me and Javante and Brandi.
Where were the twins at?
They were across the street playing.
Did they come back at some point?
Yes, they did. They came back. One of the twins came back. One of the twins came back and brought Brandi the food. When she brought Brandi the food, her and Javante left and went back across the street to play. I'm sorry. So for the last little bit of time that you were there at Brandi's house, it was just you and her again? Well, no, not the last little bit of time, but for a percentage of the time, it was just me and her. She got the kids back in. The kids came in, and then all of us were sitting there. Well, the girls went. First, they were in the living room. Then they went back to the back somewhere, and it was just me, Brandi, and Javante. And then eventually, Javante left, and I told Brandi I had to go. And she told me she had somebody coming, but I need to get. She made some sly remark.
That she was on the phone for an extended period of time?
Yeah, whenever me and Javante was sitting in the living room, and when the girls was outside and me and Javante were in the living room, she was on the phone.
Okay. So you were just kind of hanging out with Javante at that point?
Like I said, I was trying to interact with Javante. She was on the phone then.
At any point during that interaction, were you utilizing your phone?
I checked my email and stuff like that, yes.
Okay. Were you talking on the phone with anybody, or just checking
the
email
data
and things of that nature?
Just checking the data and stuff. Checking email and text messages.
Okay. About what time did you end up leaving Brandi's house that day?
It was about 8 o'clock, 8:15, somewhere around there.
And so what did you do when you left Brandi's house?
I went home.
You went home from there?
Yes.
How did you travel home?
I left her house, went back up the hill, got in my truck at the church, and drove. I got to Paul Russell, made a left, and I think I took a left on, what is it?
That Woodville Highway?
Woodville Highway, and go all the way down into Woodville.
Where you live? You live down at Woodville. Okay. At any point after you got back down home to Woodville that evening, did you go back out for any reason?
Yes, I went to the gas station. Like, it's a gas station in between Capitol Circle and Oak Ridge Road where I live. And I went there to buy me something, drink a Mountain Dew. But when I got halfway there, I realized that I had left my wallet on the kitchen counter. And I turned around and ended up getting some Kool-Aid instead of the Mountain Dew I wanted. Sweet tea, actually.
Where was that at? Where did you go? Like, where was that relative to your house?
Oh, it was, I think it was Highway 61 and Woodville Highway where they meet at. Mm-hmm. When I got down to that point, I realized my wallet, well, actually, I realized a little bit before that, but when I got to that point is where I made a U-turn at.
Okay. Then you went back home after that?
Yes, sir.
You remained home for the rest of the evening?
Yes, sir.
Who else was home when you were there?
Malika, my two sons.
What were they doing?
Malika was in the room. She was laying down. Malachi and Trey was in the living room watching television. We watched a movie together.
Okay. Were you utilizing your 408 phone during that time period, the time period after you arrived back home?
Yeah, I was still texting one of my girlfriends at the time.
Who was that?
Natasha.
And what was you said she's a girlfriend. What was your relationship with her at that time, with Natasha?
She was my girlfriend.
Okay. Now, we saw with the state's evidence that there were a bunch of deleted texts. Why were those texts deleted?
Mainly because I didn't want Malika going through my phone and rereading everything and getting all mad about this and that again. So I just erased all of them. Anything had to do with Brandi, I tried to keep it out of my phone. So.
That text message that Brandi sent you on Thursday, talking about she would have given you some, you look good. Did you delete that one as well?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about this as well. Yesterday, there was some talk about texts pertaining to white Monte Carlo.
Oh, yes, sir.
Did you have in your possession a white Monte Carlo around that time?
Yes, sir.
And the text messages referred to getting rid of it. When did you come to realize that you needed to get rid of the white Monte Carlo?
I think when I interviewed the police, I felt like they were looking at me as a suspect. The type of questioning that they were giving me. So I didn't want them snooping around my house because the Monte Carlo was stolen.
And so how did that go? How did you come to be in possession of a stolen vehicle?
I met a guy who had a car. I brought it from him. I knew it was stolen when I brought it, but it was a real nice car and good. He was in good shape, and I got it for real cheap.
So you're in possession of a stolen vehicle. Who was it that you were talking to about getting rid of it?
I think my cousin Rusky.
And what was it exactly, based on your interview with the police, that made you think they were going to look at you as a suspect, that is?
I don't know. It's just that, black man sitting in the police station, I just felt awkward, felt weird the whole time I was there. And
so you did, in fact, engage in efforts to get rid of that stolen vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, notwithstanding your efforts, you never did get rid of the vehicle, right?
No, I never did get rid of it.
In fact, at some point, TPD seized it and executed a search warrant on it, right?
Yes, they have it now.
And same for your green truck?
Yes, sir.
And same for Malika's vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And they processed all that?
Yes, sir.
And found no evidence of anything related to the crimes?
No, sir.
And none of those vehicles had been wiped down, washed down, anything like that, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So to this day, they still have that white Monte Carlo?
Yes.
All right. I wanted to ask you too about, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, the fact that you'd been shot.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what that was about. How did that go down?
I was working in Alabama at the time, and my cousin was in Long Beach, Mississippi, and he called me and told me that, that he was having an issue with some guys out there and wanted to know if I could have his back. So I was like an hour and a half away, 2 hours from where he was. So I drove down there to make sure that he was okay. And, one thing led to another. One of the guys pulled a firearm and started shooting, and me and my cousin ducked behind the truck or whatever and started shooting too.
Okay. What weapon were you shooting with at that time?
I had a .32 revolver.
Okay. And this is back in July of 2010?
Yes, sir. July 31st, matter of fact.
Okay. So you got shot during that shootout, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what happened to the gun after that?
I gave it to my cousin, and he brought it back with him to Louisiana.
Okay. Why did you get rid of that gun?
Well, I didn't want the police to find it on me when I went to the hospital, knowing I've been in a shootout, and I told him to hold on to it just in case he needed, make sure nobody hurt him or anything, harm him.
Okay. Tell me what the nature of your injuries were after you got shot.
I got shot like I guess it's like an inch under my heart. I can feel my heartbeat when I touch the bullet hole. It was with a .45. Once I got shot, they removed the bullet out of my groin, so they had to do an incision like 8 or 9 inches from, I guess, the bottom of my chest all the way down past my belly button.
That's what that big scar on the pictures we saw was from, that surgery?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was that surgery performed, roughly?
July 31st.
It was the day you were shot?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have, as of the time of the murders in this case, did you have any physical limitations on you at that point?
Yes, I was on light duty. I couldn't lift too many heavy objects. I couldn't bend over. Like I can squat down, but I couldn't just bend over just head first.
And why exactly was that?
It still hurt my stomach when I just bend straight over.
So you hadn't yet returned to lifting full weight or anything along those lines?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the day after the murder. How and when did you find out that Brandi and Javante had been killed?
It was the day after the murders. I went to my friend Adam's house. When I came home from his house, I had already planned to bring my youngest son, Malachi, to get his hair braided. I picked the boy.
Let's talk about Adam for a second. You said you went down to his house.
Yes, sir.
When and how did the plan to hang out at Adam's house develop?
Like the week before, the murders happened on Friday. We came back into town on Sunday, and while we were coming back from a job, he rode with me to the job because he didn't have a driver's license. He rode with me from the job here, and we were talking about going back to his house, fixing his dog line. I told him I wanted to shoot the bow and arrow. He was telling me he got his son a new bow, and I told him I wanted to try it because I wanted to go hog hunting. I told him one day over the weekend I try to make it over because during the week it's not going to happen because I got too much stuff to do.
And that you're saying that was the Sunday prior to the murders?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you got there, what did you all end up doing? Got to Adam's house, that is. What did you all end up doing?
We did a little bit of everything. We sat around, talked, had a little fire going, shot the bow and arrow. We played some music, threw the football around with his oldest son a little bit. We walked around. He showed me where his hunting stands were, where he had some kind of feed post set up for where deer or hogs or whatever would come out.
At some point, did you guys use the bow, shoot the arrows, all that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir.
And how were you doing? I mean, in terms of what success were you having?
Well, not that great. It's kind of hard to pull it back. It had a lot of tension to it, so it kind of hurt a little bit to pull it back. But once I got it pulled back, I let it go. Like I said, I missed target most of the time, but it was fun.
Where were the arrows going when you would miss the target?
Right into the bushes.
All right.
Right behind the target or next to the target in the bushes.
And were you having to reach into the bushes to retrieve them?
Yes, sir.
We saw a few little scratches on your forearms and all that when the state was introducing pictures. Is that what those scratches were from?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you finish up at Adam's house at some point, and you had started to tell me that you were taking your son to get his hair done. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know about what time that was?
No, I really don't remember.
I mean, are we talking morning or is it afternoon?
It was afternoon.
Okay.
Probably a little bit after lunch.
So then how exactly did you find out about Brandi and Javante?
When I called the girl who does my son's hair, she was actually braiding my hair and his hair. Mm-hmm. But she was just doing his hair that day. So when I called her about getting his hair done, she told me what happened.
Okay. During that conversation, did she already know that Javante was dead or not yet?
No, she told me that people were saying that they believe Javante was with Kalo, which is the guy who Brandi would sometimes tell me was Javante's daddy whenever me and her got into arguments.
Okay, so at that point you believed Javante was still alive?
Yes, sir.
At some point did you find out that he was deceased as well?
Yes, sir. So when I called her to make the appointment, she told me about the incident. When I got my two sons to her house, and once I got in there, she pulled me to the side and let me know that he was in the house with them.
Now, there's been talk about the fact that you didn't show a lot of emotion during your interview with Investigator Lewis. Can you just kind of tell us what your feelings were, how you were processing their deaths and all that at the time that you were doing your interview with Investigator Lewis?
Well, first of all, when she first told me it happened with Brandi and the twins, I already had my sons in the truck with me, and I felt flabbergasted, but I couldn't just pull over and cry because I had my sons in the truck with me. I raised them from day one. Men not supposed to cry, so I held my tears in. I kept moving forward.
When you say that. Are you talking about that's how you were raised or that's how your boys are raised?
That's how I was raised, but that's how I raised them because that's how I was raised.
Okay. So when you said that's how you raised them, you're talking about Malachi and Trey?
Yes.
Okay. Why was that? Why did you raise them not to show emotion? Why were you raised not to show emotion?
I assume because that's how my daddy was raised.
Okay. Is that, you know, kind of what how you would deal with stress and bad things that happened in general in life?
Yes. You know, when I was younger, I used to get mad and cry a lot. You know, tears would run down my eyes. You know, I might get a whipping, or Daddy might hit me in the arm. Hey, you know, men not supposed to cry. Boy, dry your eyes. So eventually, the older I got, you know, I just learned how to channel it and just hold it in and just deal with whatever frustrations I had on the inside instead of, you know, letting everybody see what's really going on with me.
Okay. Is that kind of the same way you were processing what happened to Brandi and Javante and the twins?
Yes, sir. And my son Jalik that died the year before that.
That's how you dealt with his passing as well?
Yes, sir.
So when you were dealing with Investigator Lewis, what were your feelings about Brandi's passing, the twins' passing, Javante's passing at that time, at the time when you were talking to Investigator Lewis?
It was hard to process because, for one, I felt like I was being cornered. I don't feel like they were there questioning me about, you know, I don't think they was there trying to get my assistance or help or whatever. I feel like they were, you know, pointing the finger at me, so to speak. So the whole time I was there, I kind of felt cornered. I felt like I was a suspect, so to speak.
And what do you remember exactly what that was based on? Your feeling that you were being cornered or looked at as a suspect?
Just being a black man inside of a small room with two white guys with guns. You know, I was kind of scared, intimidated a little bit. So.
Well, I guess let me ask you this. Did you go in voluntarily to meet with Investigator Lewis?
Yes, sir.
On multiple occasions? Well, I guess
yes,
it was
sir.
2 occasions, right?
Yes,
on the 20th, the day of the murder?
And the 30th.
Yes, and the 30th was the second time? Okay. And that was the first meeting, the interview on the 20th, where he had you take off your shirt and take the pictures and all that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Took DNA swabs, all that.
You voluntarily provided a DNA swab at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Just a few minutes ago, you heard that phone call being played, and one of the things that you said to Malika was, you know, that you had given your life up for her. What was, I guess, first of all, what are you talking about, and what is your relationship with Malika at that point?
Well, at that point, you know, well, first of all, what I was talking about was, I'm in the police station. The officer, Lewis, I believe his name, he's asking me 100 times, did you see Brandi? Did you talk to Brandi? Did you talk to Brandi? What about these other girls? What about these other? I'm like, man, I didn't talk to anybody. I'm not cheating my wife. I ain't talked to nobody. I ain't talked to no other female, no nothing. If I would have just told him, look, yes, I was cheating on my wife. I was talking to Brandi. I talked to Natasha. I talked to Kim. I talked to all these different females. Then I think he would have seen that I was telling the truth. And, you know, like I said, I wouldn't be here today.
That's what you think in retrospect.
That's what I feel.
In retrospect. But you, at the time, you lied to him, right?
Yes.
I mean,
because I honestly didn't think that me lying to him about having sex with a bunch of different women would, you know, result in me being arrested for murder.
And you didn't just lie about Brandi, right? You lied about Natasha. He asked you specifically about her?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you think it was necessary? Like, what concern did you have about being truthful with Investigator Lewis about your affairs with all these women? Why did you think that Malika was going to find out about that?
I'm like, I figured they were going to tell her, or they would find out eventually. She would find out eventually through them. I don't know. I just didn't feel like them knowing anything about who I'm having sex with had anything to do with somebody getting killed.
Okay. You didn't think that would be relevant to their investigation?
No, I didn't.
Okay. That was a lie that you persisted in throughout your interviews with them, correct? Even after they confronted you about the 408 phone?
Yes, sir.
You never gave in and just told them, yeah, that's my phone. Yeah, I'm hooking up with all these women.
No, sir.
Okay. think that's all my questions for now. Thank you.